The number one show I know that we all agree on is Break the Bank with Lerk and Deion.
Welcome back to another episode of the Break the Bank podcast. This is your boy Lerk. I'm with the homie Deion. I text Eric X earlier because he was talking about he gonna be in Hawaii for work, trying to flex on us. So I hit him up earlier. I'm like, yo, you gonna be able to record or nah? He said, I'm gonna try to be ready by 10 o'clock, fingers crossed. I say, yo, bro, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm not waiting until 10 o'clock for you to tell me that you can't make it. We finna record without you. Like, I'm just not, bro. Because then fuck around, we be recording till 1 a.m. my time. I'm the only person on the East Coast. Like, nah, I'm
Yeah,
good, bro. What's good with you though? How's everything today?
chilling, bro. Just watching the Clippers blow this game to the Cavs.
Yo, listen, all that matters is that the Knicks don't blow this game to the Hornets right now. So that bet you took with the Knicks in the spread, that was a straight bet or a parlay?
Nah, I got the Clippers in there.
Tell me you
But
don't
the
have Monk on there.
huh?
Tell me you don't have the Monk pick on there.
No.
Okay,
But
cool.
I just got the Clippers in there, and but like the Cavs don't have Garland, so I thought this would like low key be a lot. But I don't know. I believe in the Clippers a lot this year, so I wasn't too
They
concerned
have
about them.
looked great the past few weeks.
Yeah, what they did to the Celtics made me a believer. But what they're doing right now, I might not be anymore.
It's one game, bro. It's one game. But speaking of one game, NFL conference championship just happened. Single elimination, just the way we love it. I wish more sports adapted this, even though I understand the 7 game series is going to bring in way more money. But I feel like single elimination is just more fun. You got to give it your all. But I had the Ravens winning against the Chiefs. I also in that same statement said I'm not gonna bet against Mahomes, but I do think the Ravens are gonna win. You said they were gonna win by a lot. It was only
I said the Chiefs would win
17-10.
by a lot, right?
Yeah, you said the Chiefs were gonna win by yeah, let me be specific about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you said you had the Chiefs winning by a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It was only 17-10. But it looked a lot worse than the score indicated.
Yeah.
Like between the Lamar fumble in his own backyard, Zay Flowers fumbling the ball going into the end zone, it was a disaster. Lamar had almost 300 yards, but he didn't look good for most of the game. Like most of those yards were in the fourth quarter, if I'm not mistaken. The Ravens got dominated from start to finish, even though the Chiefs did. Like the Chiefs were like, here, take it back. We don't want to win. And they were just doing everything possible to make sure that the Chiefs went to the championship again. But at the same time, I do got to shout out Mahomes. The numbers show that he had a pedestrian game, but some of those fucking plays he made during that game, bro, were just fucking phenomenal. Like, in the first half, he threw a jump pass while getting hit, falling forward, and lobbed that shit right over the linebacker into diving Kelsey's hands. And that's just one of the many times that Mahomes has showed us that he's not to be fucked with. And I really thought it was Lamar's year, and he's probably still gonna get MVP. But the Ravens looked so fucking ass in that game is disgusting.
That shit don't surprise me. If I'm being honest with you, so the reason I thought the Chiefs would win by a lot is like I feel like a lot of people viewed this as a contrast of styles, like the physical Ravens team against this Chiefs team that typically is like all finesse. This team isn't that. And that's why I thought like this would be a blowout because they can be that if they need to because they have Patrick Mahomes, but they can be just as physical as any team in the league. And to be able to match the Ravens' physicality takes them out of what they want to do. And moreover, like I just think Mahomes is just so much smarter than everybody else in the league. Like they only scored 17 points, and like this is gonna sound crazy on purpose. Like I feel like they went into halftime, they were up what 17-7 at halftime, I believe it was. And I believe like in my opinion, what I saw from Mahomes in the second half was the guy who was like, Spagnuolo got this dude. if I just don't turn the ball over, if we go 3 and out or we get a first down and then we punt and we put them back and they have to go 70, 80 yards every time, they're not doing that against our defense. So I felt like he just was like, he played it safe, which is a contrast to what he did.
They played it safe to an extent because
Yes.
Reed was not trying to kick any field goals either.
No,
And
no, no.
Reed was going for the jugular.
But like, I just mean like he wasn't going to take that chance that Mahomes normally would take because he knew what he had behind him. Versus the Bills game, where like they had to score because Josh Allen was going crazy, and so they did. So I just feel like they can beat you in so many ways. This game could have got ugly if they wanted to, like make it ugly, in my opinion. But they just did what they had to do to win. It was very, 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 very Brady-esque. When we say Brady, like, is
Like
a quote
dominating the
unquote,
time of the possession,
mm-hmm.
just killing them, wearing down the defense. And not for nothing, you saw a lot of that in the second half. Because in the first half, the Chiefs were very aggressive, but in the second half, they were just dominating the clock. And again, Lamar looked really bad. Like, like he looked so bad that our boy JK, host the Only Haters, producer for many, many podcasts and shows on the internet. He hit me up, I think it was Sunday after, yeah, or like I think during the 49ers Lions game, and he was like, yo, you were right about what you said in week 5 about Lamar. And I was like, hold up, what did I say? You gotta remind me. I say a lot of shit. And he's like, yo, you said you called him a running back. Bro, as racist as it sounds because of the history behind the statement saying that a black quarterback is really a running back or a wide receiver, I know those statements get perceived badly because of the history behind those statements. But I'm dead ass when I say Lamar is a running back. Like he's improved as a passer. I'll give him that. This season, he played way better than I ever thought he could as a quarterback. But his arm talent does not move me whatsoever. You move that man to running back, he's gonna shatter every fucking record. You keep him at quarterback, you're capped at what he is now. Like this is all we're gonna get from the Ravens as long as he's quarterback, in my opinion. I don't think they're winning the championship. I thought this was the year for that to happen, and the way they shat the bed, like the defense held the Chiefs scoreless the second half, and they did nothing with that. Nothing. You had many chances to tie it up or win the game, and you fumbled it, literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
It is just disgusting. Let's take a shot, bro. This shit just.
Yeah,
Just
I do
even
want to
thinking about
preface like I do want to preface like, with all due respect to that Ravens defense, I really do think the Chiefs did that by design. Like, I'm not saying they didn't
about
try
them
to
being
score.
scoreless in the second half.
Yeah, like I think that I don't think the Ravens defense deserves a ton of credit for that. If the Chiefs wanted to score, they would have scored.
They stopped them on 3rd and short and 4th and short many times, though. That
Yes.
is like they made the plays when they needed to get them off the field.
No, I absolutely, and like they deserve credit for that. But like I said, those 3rd and short play calls were like, all right, I know what's behind me play calls. You know what I mean? Like, in the first half, I think they ran for it on 3rd and short once and said, fuck that, we're not doing this anymore. And they ran for it on 3rd and short a lot in the second half. A lot.
Pacheco played a good game too, even though he didn't really put up like no eye popping numbers. He played well.
No, he did. And like I said, like
He's
Mahomes didn't
physical.
throw for 350, 400 yards like we know he can, but like that was one of the more impressive Mahomes performances to me because, like I said, that was Tom Brady and Belichick saying, "All right, we know what we got, and you're not going to take us out of what we can do. And if we need to do more, we will, but you have to show us."
Yeah. Shout out to the Brady Belichick Mahomes Reed combos. Fucking amazing to watch. I mean, fuck Belichick. Belichick. I've said for the last few since I've known you, I've been telling everybody and their mother that Belichick is not the GOAT and he's overrated. Never did shit before or after Brady, only with Brady. And I'm just glad people are finally starting to respect that. Before we move on to the most exciting game of the weekend. Let's take a shot real quick. I got some tequila as always.
The Cardi as always.
Yeah. Real quick, is it gold or silver? If you say Bacardi Gold, I'm gonna have to pray for you.
Nah, silvers.
Okay. Your 49ers. Woo! Wash that down with some more tequila. Your 49ers. That Lions game was a tale of two halves for sure. The 49ers looked ass in the first half. You see them make some adjustments. You see some things starting to work for them a little bit, but the Lions dominated that first half. And then as soon as the second half took over, the 49ers dominated again. And we saw that last week with the Packers 49ers game. And we've seen that many times with the Lions this season, where they start out hot and then don't do nothing in the second half, and their defense has to save them, except their defense couldn't save them this time around. And then, just like how Packers could have won that game if not for the missed field goal and then the intro at the end, if the Lions don't go for it on fourth down and kick the field goal, what was it? 2 times they did that, they win the game.
Yeah, I agree.
But the Lions, and I want to say the Chargers, are like two teams that you can never expect them to kick a field goal on fourth down. They're 9 times out of 10, they're going for it. Most of the time it works for them. I think they said coming into the game, they converted every fourth down conversion in the playoffs.
Yeah, they're 2 for 2 in the playoffs, and I want to say
I think they were 3 for 3 or 4 for 4, and then they went like 1 for 3 or 1 for 4 against y'all.
Yeah, I want to say they were like 15 for 20 in the regular season too, maybe 18 for 20. It was a very high percentage.
Yeah, so it's like I respect the decision given.
I don't.
Like I respect it because the coach stuck to his guns. This is how he coaches. This is what he does. But at the same time, this is the playoffs, one and done. You got a chance to take your franchise to the Super Bowl for the first time in franchise history. And 2 poor decisions cost you that game. Obviously, a lot more goes into it because they were up, 24-7, 21-7, some shit like that.
24-7.
Yeah, so like it's a lot more than just going for it on fourth down. But even with all the shit that happened throughout that game, those 2 boneheaded decisions, if you go for the field goal, 9 times out of 10, well, there's no guarantee the kicker makes it, but you're most
So I
likely winning
saw
that
he's
game.
like 70% or something like that from that distance,
Which
isn't good.
Great,
That's
but isn't terrible.
Nah, it's pretty bad for an NFL kicker, at least, you know what I mean? Like, and then you factor in the fact that he plays in the dome, pretty bad.
And then they're not in the dome. The Lions played a hell of a first half. The fourth quarter they played better again, but that third quarter, even in the fourth quarter, for the most part, like they played better, but that whole second half, the 49ers dominated. And that catch by Aiyuk
Yeah, he's
to
crazy.
set up the touchdown by Aiyuk, it was so crazy. I was fucking defending Aiyuk this morning. You know I love Aiyuk, but I hate how much you glaze him. But
No,
you know I love him.
He's nuts, bro. I mean,
Yeah, like I really had to defend him today, and then I didn't even go all out in the argument because I saw a stat that just blew my fucking mind. I want to say last week, Ayuk ranked like 31st in targets,
yeah,
but he finished like 7th or 5th in yards.
yeah.
That's fucking insane, bro.
He also
Fucking
has,
insane.
if you look at his yards, he also has like 20 to 30 less catches than anybody above him.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah, but it's not just
like,
targets.
Obviously,
It's
like he's getting targeted a lot less, so he's not gonna have nowhere near the catches. But it's goddamn, bro.
But to me, that just shows like that's a credit to him and to an extent Purdy. Like they're pushing that ball down the field. He doesn't have nearly the yak as the other guys either, like because he's a yak machine. And so I thought his yak would be way higher. It's really not. Like he just is phenomenal, bro. Like I truly, truly, truly believe like if you put him in a system without these other guys and you give him a quarterback, like I truly believe he's probably the best receiver in the league. But we'll,
All
I
right.
mean,
So,
we won't.
so we all know how you feel about Jared Goff, how most people feel about Jared Goff. But let me ask you this: 'cause I said this earlier, and I truly believe it. I want to get your opinion. Because yesterday, people took it as I was shitting on Amon-Ra St. Brown by saying he's not special. I said Gibbs is special. St. Brown is regular. He's a great player, but he's a regular dude. Like nothing he does is spectacular. And then the argument about Aiyuk came up this morning. I said, yo, you put Aiyuk on the Lions, he's putting up better numbers than St. Brown.
Mm-hmm. I mean, win that game.
Like, no disrespect to St. Brown. He's a hell of a fucking player. But he's not this guy that people want. He's not a generational talent.
He's
a solid, consistent player. Like
if Debo didn't play for Kyle Shanahan, he's Debo Samuel. That's like what he is, and that's not bad.
Debo Samuel is Percy Harvin with Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but he I mean, him and Amon are the same to me because they like their route tree is above average, but nothing special. Like Ayuk's route tree is crazy, bro. His like, but they have better hands. You know, they have better hands.
That. Like St. Brown's hands are amazing. Like if you want to say he has one of the best set of hands in the NFL, pause, then yeah, I can get with that. He's consistent as fuck. He catches almost anything that gets near his hands. But he doesn't create a lot of separation. He's not that fast. He doesn't jump that high. Like nothing he does, no one thing he does stands out.
So
that's why his body of work is good.
That's why him and Debo are the same to me because neither creates a ton of separation. Like Ayuk would be better in the Lions system. Amon-Ra would be better in the Niners system, right? Like if you gave Amon-Ra the Debo Samuel, like if you put him in that same role, like I think he's putting up those numbers Debo put up when we made the NFC Championship 2 years ago, where he was like second in the league in receiving while also being 1,000-yard running back or whatever the fuck, whatever it was, like that nut that shit. Like I do think he's extremely talented, but I think when you compare him to like a true number one receiver like Ayuk, that's not fair. And I say the same thing about Debo, bro. Like no Niner fan, don't talk to me about Debo and Ayuk. They're not even in the same fucking realm of player.
I think for me, I think Ayuk is a better receiver, but Debo's a better athlete.
Sure, but when we're discussing who's a better receiver, it's not even.
It's not even close. Debo is a gadget player.
Yeah,
Ayuk is a true one.
And that doesn't mean Debo and Ayuk and Amon-Ra aren't like 1,000-yard receivers, even 1,200-yard receivers. You know what I mean? Like, don't get me wrong. Like, they're some of the best receivers in the league. There's obviously a place for them in the league. They're very talented, but they're when we're talking about Ayuk, like his only peers are maybe Justin Jefferson. That's about it.
I don't know, bro. Only Justin Jefferson is kind of crazy, bro. Like,
no, there's no one else. See, Tyreek Hill, like if my pops was fast, me and Tyreek Hill are the same human being. Except for I don't hit children.
Nah, you ain't got children, so
yeah, don't hit children. I also don't beat women. But who else is it? Jamar Chase? No way.
Are you starting to see what I was trying to tell you? He's not top 5.
I still think he's top 5, but like to me, like when we're just it's
so you feel like the top 2 are Ayuk and Jettas, and the top 2 are in a tier of their own.
It's like the quarterback position, bro. Like it's Burrow and Mahomes, and then a gap. Then you have Allen. In this case, you have Tyreek Hill, and then you have another gap. And I do think like Jamar's probably in that next gap. You know, Jamar and CD.
CD actually cleaned up his act this year with the drops and everything. So I'd have
CD.
CD. I have CD ahead of Chase. Like,
So do I, but I would say those would be that would be my top five.
look,
Like
as
pretty.
talented as Chase is, bro, I can't put him top 5 when he leads the league in drops every fucking year. Like, the
Yeah,
only reason why he didn't lead the league in drops this year is because he couldn't fucking stay healthy.
yeah. I just mean like those would be my top five receivers, right? Like
I have St. Brown over Chase. I have St. Brown over. I don't have him over Tyreek is 2 to me, bro. It's Jettas and Tyreek for me. And then
Jettas.
it's only been 1 year. He's a fucking rookie. I went on a whole rant about the people crowning these young Jets after one season. So I don't want to sound like a hypocrite, but that boy
Yeah,
Puka Nakua, he's another St. Brown where nothing he does, no one thing he does really stands out other than his hands, pause. But this dude is fucking legit. Like, he punishes defenders when they try to tackle him. Like, he's hard to bring down. His route is clean as fuck.
he's like Cooper Cup to me.
You
Which
could you
who's
could
the same dude.
Cooper Cup is another dude.
Yeah.
Like, grant the injuries have held him back, but Cooper Cup is another dude that you can't just ignore when you say Ayuk and that Jettas is Ayuk's only peer, bro. Like,
He is, bro. It's just
but at the same time, like, what again? Like, I'm saying this, but then, like I told you in the beginning of the season when you had him at like number 4 receiver in the league, I told you then, no matter how much talent I believe he has, until he actually like puts up the numbers to back up these claims, can't crown him. But then to see the dude finish as high as he did in yards and touchdowns, but on the flip side, as low as he was in targets,
yeah.
it's kind of crazy. Like, if you put him on the Chiefs, he probably breaks the receiving yards record.
So that's my fear. That's my fear. Is like I don't think him being on the Chiefs is that far fetched.
Like nothing. Speaking of the Chiefs, though, what you think about Rashee Rice? I think Rashee Rice has a bright fucking future playing with Mahomes. Yo, bro, he's so fucking good and fast. Like, I was second guessing his talent earlier this year, but that boy is good.
He's good. Like when I say Ayuk and Jettas are on another level, and I know no one wants to believe this because like to the casual fan, it's like Purdy checks it down, this and that. CMC.
By the way, Purdy played a fucking amazing game on Sunday. He played like shit in the first half, but the second half, he looked like a top 3 quarterback.
But it's he checks it down, he hits his fly route, CD or CMC, Debo, Kittle, like all these guys. The reason he does that, bro, is watch one of these games and watch how many people are looking at Ayuk on every play. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Ayuk gets treatment the same way Jettas does. He gets the same treatment that Tyreek Hill does, and he has all these guys on his team. You know what I mean? So like to me, like I always for me, and I say this regardless of sport, how you defend somebody matters. Like I'll give a basketball reference because we talk majority basketball on here. I never put Dame in the Steph conversation for a lot of reasons. Don't get me wrong, but Dame and Harden could never be Steph to me because when they run pick and roll, they don't get trapped at half fucking court. You know what I mean? The way they get guarded is a lot fucking different than the way Steph gets guarded. And
I disagree.
that doesn't mean they don't get guarded tight.
I disagree.
It's just different.
That's why Dame started shooting from the logo, because he couldn't get through the blitzes.
Right. But
whenever they blitzed him and trapped him at half court, he couldn't do nothing. So he started shooting from the logo.
But it's that way for him once a month and in the playoffs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
The Warriors could play the Charlotte Hornets on a fucking Monday afternoon. No one's watching, and Steph's getting blitzed at half court. The Niners could play anybody, and Ayuk's getting double and triple team. Same with Jettas, double and triple team. So that type of like defense, like to me, they show you who the best players on a team are by the way they guard them. And I think Ayuk's our best weapon by a long shot. That's no disrespect to Christian McCaffrey or any of those dudes, but he's who makes our offense go.
Look, and remember last week I said if the Lions are able to contain McCaffrey and key in on McCaffrey in the run game, they have a real chance of winning this game and probably will win this game. And your response was they can't because of Ayuk. And then in the first half, they shut everything down, the passing and the running. But in that second half, McCaffrey started to break loose. When McCaffrey started to break loose, everything fell apart for them. Because then they tried to focus more on McCaffrey, and then Aiyuk was violating them. When they went back to trying to stop Aiyuk from getting off the line of scrimmage, that's when things opened up for Debo on the jet sweep and McCaffrey to break out for more runs. Even fucking your fullback, the greatest fullback of all time besides Mike Allstott, Kyle Juszczyk, however you say his name. This dude had more receiving yards yesterday than he did all fucking season. Because once you try, like you said, like they tried their best to contain these people, but once they started to break loose, they had to put more pressure. Once you put more pressure on either one of them, you opening up yourself to a world of hurt everywhere else. And yo, shout out to your boy John Lynch, because he's constructed this roster. Kyle Shanahan for being the mastermind he is. But I ain't gonna lie, I hate it because I don't want you to be happy.
I just like when I look at this roster, bro, I just see a team. You're right. Like McCaffrey getting going helped. In my opinion, they just didn't target Aiyuk enough in the first half. Like, so you got to give him a chance sometimes. Like, even the play, and I want to dive into those 2 4th down calls because I didn't like what you said about it. But the play where it bounced off the dude's helmet, all these Lions fans acting like that should have been a pick. Listen, I'm not saying Aiyuk should have caught that shit. If you make that play 10 times, I think that's the only time he fucking catches it. But I also think 8 times out of 10, it's a fucking incompletion, and it's second down for the Niners on the 50. You know what I mean?
I think it was not so much about it should have been an intel. It was more of just like you couldn't play it any better than you did, and he still got the catch.
Well, didn't they? Was it not pass interference?
It was supposed. I think they ended up. Did they pull the flag back and say no call?
I thought the Niners declined pass interference on the play.
Okay, it might have been that.
Because I know they threw a flag.
That was I know. If they would have called pass interference, that would have been a bad call though.
Maybe, but I know they threw a flag on him.
Yeah, that you're talking about the play where he jumped Aiyuk and Aiyuk still got it, right?
Where the ball bounced off.
Yeah, he cut in front and then it bounced. Yeah.
Well,
so, yeah, they did throw a yeah,
they did throw
a they did call a pass interference if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and the Niners declined it, right? Because he caught it.
It was either they threw the flag and then took it back, or they had they declined it, because I know they definitely there was one play in that second half where they ended up pulling the flag off.
I know they threw a flag on the play. And I will say this, if that's a good pass, not only is that a fucking pass interference, that's and one. Because Aiyuk would have caught that shit, bro. That's and one. Aiyuk would have caught that shit if it was a good pass. That pass was dog shit. That pass was dog shit. That's why it allowed him to make the play he made. I don't think there's a world where that dude ever makes that catch, maybe once every 10 times. The same way only once Aiyuk makes the catch he makes. But 8 of the 10 times you make that throw, I think it's most likely an incompletion. Best case scenario, or worst case scenario for the Lions, a pass interference. But either way, like, I don't think the Niners, like, I don't think that's a pick. It's a fucking tough catch to make.
And then you said you didn't like what I said about respecting the coach being consistent with his calls and going for it on 4th.
Yeah, so here's the thing about being a good head coach and being like having a great quarterback, having a great team, etc. This is what I said about the Chiefs, right? Like, it was 17-7, I believe, at halftime, Chiefs Ravens, and the Chiefs went into the locker room, came out, and they didn't play like the Kansas City Chiefs have played in the 6 years Mahomes was there, right? Like, they were very conservative.
Mm-hmm.
You have to know who you're playing against. You're up 14 points. Kyle Shanahan cannot come from behind. Like, he cannot. It's been shown throughout his career. So I think going up 17, putting your team up 3 scores the first time, like you have to kick that field goal. You just have to. And to me, that's one of the most ludicrous coaching mistakes I've ever seen. It just is what it is. Like if they played a different team, like if they were playing the Chiefs and the idea was, okay, we're only at 14 points, like 3 points doesn't really do anything because it's the Chiefs, they're going to score a touchdown anyway. Sure. The Niners aren't that team. We just kicked a field goal coming out of halftime. We are not that team. You kick a field goal, you go up 17 points, and you make us drive 75 yards. Situational calls matter. He clearly showed that he has zero inability to make situational based calls, and great coaches have to do that to win a championship.
I respect where you stand on that. I can't be mad at that because I shit on coaches all the time for just that, like not being able to adjust and make the right decision in critical situations. I mean, at the end of the day, you're right. I gotta walk back my statement. Like, as much as I want to respect him sticking to his guns, it was a boneheaded decision. It was a terrible decision, and it cost you a chance at a Super Bowl.
Mm-hmm. No, it's a great call in the regular season. Stick to your guns in the regular season, right? Like I get that.
Yeah, that was my only pushback when I said I respected it before, is that like this is a single elimination game. And then not only that, the Detroit Lions have never been to the Super Bowl. Everything you kept talking about to the media and to your players was you have a chance to do something that's never been done before. And instead, you did something that's been done many times, and you made a horrible decision in a key situation, and you shot the bed and cost your team a chance at a Super Bowl ring. We saw it happen many, many times, and we'll see it happen a million times before we gone.
But he did that. He did that because he only knows how to coach one speed. And first off, I know we have no viewers, but I was on the I was on sleepers like the whole week, and I've been saying since September, this dude can't coach unless he's an underdog. So like to me, that's a call you make if you're the underdog. They were up 14 points. They were the more physical team. They dominated the first half, like you said, and many others said. Like that's not a call you make if you're up 14 points as the more dominant team. If you feel like you're up 14 points on a fluke, you don't trust your defense to get a stop, sure. But we just came out of halftime and kicked a field goal. There was zero reason to believe what he believed. You know what I mean? To make that call. So to me, that just shows he only has one speed. And if you're gonna win a championship, you have to have multiple speeds. Kyle Shanahan is showing he has that this year for the first time. That's one of my beefs with Shanahan this whole time. He has one coaching speed and he doesn't know what to do. And he's showing that's not true. And maybe it was the quarterback position, maybe it wasn't. But I mean, what I do know is like, listen, maybe the second field goal. You could convince me in a tie game to go for it on fourth down, but the first one, you have to go up 3 possessions.
Nah, the second one for me is a definite no, because this is a team that you were just up 17 points on and they tied the game.
Yeah, but
took the lead. They actually took the lead. They scored 3
Oh yeah, we were up 3
touchdowns. You scored 3 unanswered touchdowns against them.
Yeah.
That told you all you need to know. You can't take risks. You can't play with your food. You have to do whatever it takes to take the lead and do whatever it takes to hold on to it. And
but if you
do that,
if you kick the field goal the first time and hypothetically you miss, I get it. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Now, if you miss the first field goal, I don't use my kicker the rest of the game unless it's to kick it downfield.
Right.
Like, I'm not using you the rest of the game if you miss that first one.
But if you make the first
one,
but if you make the first one, you're not in the situation where you need to worry about it.
If you make the first one, then you still have the lead at that time when you go for it. So then you're right. See, if it's a tie game, then you go for it. You kick the field goal, but if you have the lead in that situation, So I understand what you're saying, but we never talked about doing this before the show started. I like kind of thought of it as we were going because you made an NBA comp. So I'm gonna throw out a couple random. I'm gonna throw out a couple NFL players that were playing this weekend and will be playing next weekend. And off the top of your head, NBA comparison. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Lamar Jackson.
Oof. Harden.
Why?
I don't think he'll ever win.
Mm. Mahomes.
Um, I don't think there is one. I don't think there is one. MJ, I guess. I don't know. Bill. Braun's not good. Braun. It's not that Braun's not good enough. Braun didn't win enough, man. Braun didn't win enough. I'm not calling Brady Braun either.
Brady's Jordan.
Yeah, but if Brady's Jordan, then
Mahomes would be Braun.
yeah, but like it took Braun, in my opinion, and this is just me. Um, it took Braun far longer to make a realistic argument than what Mahomes has. Like Mahomes has a bro. Brady won 7 Super Bowls in that like 7 championships in the NFL. MJ won 6 championships in the NBA. It's much easier to win a championship in the NBA, right? Like I think everybody would agree upon that. Um, like I don't even think you can say MJ for Brady. Like Brady is better than MJ. I think Mahomes is legitimately better than both Braun and MJ in terms of like the comparison. But I guess if I had to say one, I would say I'm gonna say Wilt.
Wilt didn't win enough.
I know none of them did though, but
Oh, Wilt barely won. He got like, did he even
I.
win? He got
But
one
for
ring.
me, no, he has one. He has at least one. But for me, it's just like it's like a random game will happen, and it's like there's a Wilt Chamberlain record, and I feel like 20 years from now, it's gonna be some random like Peyton Manning's third nephew will be playing a game, and it's like, damn, he just had X amount of yards. Mahomes has another 100. Then you know
But
what I mean? Like,
that's why I feel like he on the Braun trajectory because if I have to give Brady a comp, it will always be Jordan. And then like in 15, 20 years, like the same way you're talking about a Wilt record, it's gonna be a Braun record or like Braun like just thinking about what it's gonna take to break Braun's scoring record already makes it sound impossible.
but see, and the reason I can't give him that comparison is
The 20
longevity is
the
what did it for.
27,000 losses in the finals.
No, it's the longevity. Like Mahomes doesn't need that. You know, like
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. Oh, I understand.
if I had to compare either of the two, make Brady Braun and Mahomes would be MJ because MJ did it in a quick amount of time. Mahomes is doing it in a quick amount of time. What makes Brady special, what makes Braun special is the fact that like how long they were fucking dominant.
I mean,
Dominant.
Jordan didn't win till like his sixth or seventh year.
But he also won 6 in 13 years.
Yeah, you're right. You're right.
Like he did it very quickly. Like it might
I
have
mean,
taken a
so if
while.
anything, Brady would be Bill Russell.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you're making, yeah,
Well, he
but
won like
Bill's not good. Like what I'm saying is, Bill isn't good enough.
yeah,
MJ,
yeah.
Brady didn't do it like MJ. Braun did it. Braun didn't win enough. Like there is no comparison for those
All
two in
right.
the basketball world. I used to think. I used
I'm
to
gonna give
think
you a tough
Mahomes was
one.
like the Steph Curry of football. He's way surpassed Steph Curry this year. Way surpassed.
Steph ain't win enough either.
That's what no. Steph didn't do
Yeah.
enough. He's way
Yeah.
surpassed that.
So Steph is more about his impact on the game than his stats.
Which you could say the same about Mahomes, which is why I thought that was like a fair comparison. But like this year, it's like not like after this year, bro. Like it's just not close. It's not close.
One thing I'll say is like there was actual comp for Brady and Jordan and shit. Like there's no competition for Mahomes since Brady retired.
So to
Like
me,
Brady in his dying days, like were was Mahomes' only real competition.
so to me, like I made this argument yesterday Well, I didn't make an argument. I told a Brady fan, like one of my best friends is a Brady fan, and it just it depends on how you look at it. So there's the angle, in my opinion, where it's like, yo, Mahomes has no peers. Brady had Manning, Breeze, like all these guys. Like if they played right now, they'd be phenomenal, right? Maybe. And then there's the angle where it's like, yo, Mahomes is so fucking good, he has no peers. Like it just depends on how you look at it.
Nah,
I
you
feel
can't
like
look at it the second way. At least not you, because
me,
yeah, you in
the individual.
particular, you as an individual can't look at it the second way because, and even me and X who's not here, because we're all in agreement that overall, with a few exceptions, quarterbacks are not good anymore. Like there's no
I
real good quarterbacks in the NFL. So like it's not
but
that
he
you can't look at it as Mahomes is so good he has no peers.
but
Yes, he's
he
so good that even the good quarterbacks aren't on his level. But like overall the talent pool at the quarterback position is dirt.
but here's why I will say I can. It's because when we're discussing the Mahomes and the Brady of the world, I don't care about 6 through 15. I think 1 through 5 in the NFL right now, you can't tell me Joe Burrow is that much worse than Drew Brees. I don't think he is. You know what I'm saying? You
Yeah.
can't tell. You know what I'm saying? Like if
But
we're
you got
talking
Burrow at 2, and Breeze would be 3 or 4 of his era.
right, but that's what I'm
Oh,
saying.
not even, because you still had Favre too. You had Favre for
Oh,
most of that Brady era too. You had Peyton, you had Favre, you
but I'm
had
talking about
Rodgers,
all at the same time in their
Breeze.
prime.
Yeah,
All at the same time in their prime, you had Peyton, Brady, Breeze,
you
maybe
had
Rodgers.
Favre was in his prime too. Remember,
When?
Brady started in 2001 or 2000.
But Breeze didn't hit his prime till like 07, 08.
Yeah, he hit his prime like 04, 05.
It's generous. It's generous.
No. That's when he really started wilding. They just didn't peak as a team until like 07, 08. But you had the Drew Breeses, you got the Peyton Mannings, you had the Brett Favres, you had the Tony Romos. Like he was a choke artist in the playoffs, but Tony Romo was a monster in the regular season.
Again, I'm not talking 6 through 15. I'm talking strictly like if you look at 1 through 3, you give me Peyton, Breeze, and Brady, who are like that's that era's group of quarterbacks. You can toss in a Favre, you can
They
toss in
round
a
out
Rodgers.
they nobody from this current crop of quarterbacks is breaking the top 5 of peak quarterback play 2006, 2007.
I think Burrow could.
Burrow would have an argument.
I think
Allen
Burrow
would have
could.
an
And
argument,
that's what I'm saying though. Like
but I
that's
don't
my
think
point.
they cracked the top 5.
But we don't think they cracked the top 5 because of the dominance of one man, is what I'm saying. Like they can't fucking win. They can't win enough to where we care, right? And like you could say the same, like Brady prevented Peyton from winning a lot, but
Mm-hmm.
Peyton still got through the cracks. Like these guys haven't gone through the cracks yet. So like it just depends on how you look at it. Like I
Stafford got through the
agree.
cracks.
Who?
Stafford.
Yeah, but you could say Stafford was in his prime during Brady's era too. You know what I'm saying? Like that's how good
Yeah.
Stafford is. Like
Yeah.
Stafford and Rodgers transcend a little bit.
Yeah. And Rivers too. Rivers was good during the Brady era. I never felt like he was like a top 5 quarterback, but
No,
until
no,
towards
don't
the
get me
end of it.
wrong.
But
After
no, yeah,
5,
you say you don't care about 6 through 15, talking about 5, but like what makes it so crazy for like the Brady era was that 6 through 15, well,
we're
or like
great.
6 through 12 was better than the top 10 now, like majority of the top 10 now. Like, and then the 6 through 12, the gap wasn't as big as what, like the gap between 5 and 6 now is bigger than the gap between like 5 and 10 back then.
I agree. But why I don't care, and I mean this with all due respect to Brady, is 1 through 4 is in the same fucking conference as Mahomes. He has to go through them.
It was the same for Brady most of the time too.
No,
Peyton played in the AFC his whole career.
that's it.
Yeah, because Breeze NFC, Rogers NFC, Eli NFC. I got away with that. Cool.
That's why I don't care about
McNabb was pretty good for a while, even though I hate him.
NFC.
NFC.
Romo,
Who's it?
NFC.
Rivers, AFC.
Yeah. But what's the difference between Rivers and Herbert to you? Not much.
You put no. This I truly believe this. All due respect to nah, fuck that. I can't even say all due respect. You put Herbert on those early 2000s San Diego teams, they have a chance to beat the Patriots.
No.
Yeah.
I think they're the same
player. When they had LT in them boys, Sean Pittman, Junior Seau, nah.
They're the same player. They're both a walking mistake.
I truly believe that if Herbert was blessed with better coaching, we'd look at him differently.
We'll find out for the second year because he had fucking Kellen Moore, who's being talked about as like the best OC in the league now.
Which I never understood. I never understood that because I watched the play calling in Dallas, and it's like, why is he getting praised?
Listen, we'll find out. I don't think Herbert lasts very long with Harbaugh as his head coach because I think Herbert.
Yeah, you mentioned that last.
But we'll see. I mean, we'll find out. Like, I'm sure there'll be some new excuse for Herbert, but like I said, I just think if you look at the top five, specifically the top three, Burrow, Allen, Mahomes can play in any era. Period. Definitely Mahomes and definitely Burrow. If you told me Allen can't play because of the hits, that would be it. It's not because of talent.
But I don't think the hits will take him out either.
Then Allen can play in any era too.
I think Allen would have been more successful back in the days.
I did too because they wouldn't know what to do with him.
He reminds me of John Elway. The way he, huh?
I think Elway played against Brady too for a second. No,
Elway retired. Peyton might have been drafted by then.
Well, Peyton was drafted to Indianapolis.
Yeah, but Peyton played in the AFC, in the Broncos in the AFC.
I see what you're saying.
So what I'm saying, like, Brady, if I'm not mistaken, I gotta double check this, but if I'm not mistaken, Brady was at Michigan when Elway retired.
Gotcha. It don't matter. Either way, I don't think.
Yeah, John Elway. That would be my comp for like Allen. We got way off track with that, but that's cool though. I like this conversation.
Nah, it's not off track. That's
part no, because we were doing the NBA comps.
Yeah, I don't think there is one though for Mahomes. Who's next?
Yeah, I wanted to give you a more difficult one, and I want hopefully you don't bail yourself out with that one. Brandon Aiyuk.
I don't know if there is one again. Yeah, I don't know if there is one. Giannis, maybe. Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like Giannis accomplished too much.
I'm just thinking of a guy who's at the top of his game, but doesn't need the ball in his hands to be at the top of his game. If that makes sense.
Well, it doesn't have to be at this very moment. So I would say, I mean, if you want to put it that way, it would have to be Steph, right? Like he's the best without the ball.
No, because Steph. No, I have a different comparison. I know who I'm gonna say is Steph. Maybe Clay.
Nah, Ray Allen.
Nah, Clay better than Ray.
Prime Ray?
Clay better than Ray.
Clay not better than Prime Ray. You're bugging.
Clay better than Ray.
I wish X was here.
Defense matters. Clay better than Ray.
This man is a wild boy. I'm disappointed in you for that.
Yeah, Clay would be the comparison, actually, the more I think about it.
The Clippers covered that bet for you?
Nope. They lost by 10.
Damn. Yeah, I'm tight smacked right now. I'm trying to remember this dude's name on your team. And it's crazy that I can't remember it.
Fred Warner.
We was just talking about him earlier. Debo. I
Oh,
don't
Devo.
I don't know why I couldn't remember his name just now. I'm smacked.
Anthony Davis.
Travis Kelsey.
Tim Duncan.
Explain that.
He'll never get the credit he deserves.
I think Tim Duncan gets the credit he deserves. He's considered the greatest power forward of all time.
Yeah, but he's one of the 3 to 5 greatest players to live, in my opinion. But he never will be considered that because of the system he played in, the players he played around, and who he played against. And I think the same could be said for Kelsey. Kelsey's the greatest tight end of all time, easily. And I think he's one of the greatest offensive weapons to ever live, too. But he'll never get that credit because he played with Mahomes.
He didn't always play with Mahomes though.
Yeah, but don't nobody care about them Chiefs teams anymore, though. Don't nobody care about them teams.
Yeah, it's like their franchise didn't exist before Mahomes at this point.
Yeah.
Brock Purdy.
Shit. I'm gonna say Austin Reeves. And I think that's
Overrated?
because huh?
Overrated?
No, both. So I think by his home fan base, overrated. By other fan base, drastically underrated. And that's why I would say Austin Reeves.
Do you think that the way the home fan base overrates him plays a part into people underrating him?
No, I think people underrate him because they see how many weapons he has and thinks he doesn't do anything. And they watch Jimmy G play football for the Niners and they think this is the same offense because they can't conceptualize a lot of what goes on a football field. And I think that's why they underrate him. But I think the home fan base underrates him because they think he's an MVP candidate, uh, which like he was this year, but that doesn't make you an MVP candidate like forever.
Yeah. Isaiah Pacheco.
No, I don't. Zaza Pachulia, a bully.
Pat Bev.
Yeah, he's just a bully, man. Very tough, dude. Very tough to tackle.
All right, this is the last one, and I hope you're gonna say what I want you to say. Nick Bosa.
Gordon Hayward.
Okay, along the same lines.
How you don't ask CMC, the best player, arguably the best player on the field?
Because who do you compare him to, Steph?
Yeah, he's Steph.
But I said Nick Bosa, expecting you to say Myers Leonard, but you went with Gordon Hayward, so same direction.
Myers Leonard stinks. Hey, you know who's really fucking bad? And
Yeah,
I said
it
it.
had nothing to do with the on the field stuff at that point.
You know who's really fucking bad? And I said it from the jump, bro. Chase Young, man. That dude stinks. I've
Yeah,
never
I'm
been
not gonna
wrong.
lie. I thought he would look better with y'all. He's been a non-factor.
I've never been more right about something